Hello! Okay, so I have all these jitters because I'm so excited. I just watched the season finale of Once Upon a Time. I'm freaking out. But anyway, let's continue. So, Friday, Monday, same difference. Okay, I said I was going to put it up Friday. Well, moving on. But anyway, I didn't really do a good explanation last week at why I didn't post my video for so long. It was just like, I was kind of in a reading slump, and I just couldn't get through anything to read. I was reading Prodigy, and it's good. It's really good. I just couldn't read past the first 30 pages for some reason. I think I just needed something lighter to read. I needed something that would get my mind off of all this heavy stuff that keeps making me cry. It's not good for my well-being anyway. And you know what? This book did the trick. It was amazing! The Lightning Thief is now currently my new favorite book. I am not late on the series. What are you talking about? It's like brand new, okay? Okay? Leave me alone. So, yeah, I saw the movie of this book like a year ago. I totally regret it full-heartedly. It just, this is so much better, and I can't believe I did that to myself. I mean, what was I missing? I was missing out on so much. What was I thinking? I have no idea. Curse you, pest me. I mean, no words can describe how mad I am at myself right now, but, whatever. Moving on. Anyway, for those of you who haven't read this book, which I don't know who hasn't, but for those of you who haven't, this book basically is about a kid named Percy Jackson, and he finds out that he's a demigod, which is half human and half god, because you find out the gods are real, and the gods sometimes have kids with humans, and so demigods are formed, and they go to this place called Camp Half-Blood, where they're taught how to be warriors. You could either stay there for the whole year, or you could stay there for just the summertime as like a summer camp, as Percy's mom put it. And yeah, when Percy finds out that he's a half-blood, things just kind of go from there. And he's in trouble, big trouble, because Zeus thinks that he stole his lightning bolt. And that's not good at all, because now Zeus is out to get him, and then there's Hades trying out to get him, and then Poseidon claims him as a son. Yes, Percy is Poseidon's son, one of the big three, as they put it. I am just going to say right now, this book, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 right now. It is just superb. It was the best thing ever. Percy Jackson is a 12-year-old, and he's the most awesomest 12-year-old in the world. He is witty, and he is just really an awesome character to read. He is such a cool guy, and he has such great one-liners, and the writing style is amazing. Usually it takes me like 10 or 20 pages to get into a book. Right away, this book, I was deep into it right from the beginning, from the very first page. I am stuttering my words right now because it's so good. I can't get my thoughts out of my brain fast enough. They're all running through my head. I love even the chapter titles. I mean, the first chapter title, I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. That is just really interesting. Makes you wonder, well, why did he do that? What's going on here? It says, look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. Okay, why didn't you want to be a half-blood? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. It just gets you so interested right in the first paragraph. I loved it so much. It was just so good. The writing style was amazing. And the description throughout the entire novel, the setting-wise, it's not too detailed where you're getting really bored because it's just pages and pages of analyzing what the setting means, and the sky is blue because he's sad, and the grass is green because green means rebirth. I don't know, but it was that kind of thing, and it wasn't too quick where it was like you have no idea what your surroundings are. You have no idea where they are, and so it was just a really refreshing thing to read. I was just immediately hooked with this, and it is my new love. This is my baby right here. This book's really awkward, but I love it. And I love Percy, and I love his friends, and all the characters in the story were very well descriptive. Again, not too much, not too little, just the right amount, like Goldilocks would say. So, pacing was great, description was great, writing style was great. I love that Percy was the one telling the story. He is such a good storyteller, or rather, Rick Riordan's a good storyteller. I love this guy already. He is now one of my favorite authors just by reading this book. I love his writing so much. It is just so good. I can't find another way to describe it. It's just something really nice and something that picked me back up on my feet, because it was just such a really great light read, but it wasn't light at the same time. It was just a really good book. Really, really good book. But I guess that's my review of it. Percy Jackson. What did you think? You know, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. But now I'm going to go into the spoiler section because I have so much more to say. So if you have not read this book, please go do it right now. What are you still doing here? Go away. I'm sorry. I'm being mean, but go away. Alright, we're going to do this. So, I loved this book so much, like I said. It was just such an interesting way to put the type of world where the Greek mythology was put into the story in a way that was so different than what we've learned in the past of what Greek mythology is all about. Freshman year, I read a book on Greek mythology, which was the most boring thing ever, but it was still really interesting at the same time to actually know this stuff now about Greek mythology, because I've always had an idea of it, because, you know, I've always had the ideas from Hercules as a child, but that was really not it. Actually, after I read that Greek mythology book, I went back and watched Hercules, and I'm like, nope, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. This one's supposed to be married to this one's the son of this one. What are you doing? Meg, why are you here? That kind of thing. But anyway, back to Percy Jackson. I loved the way that Rick Riordan put the big three. I mean, Zeus, you think of this big almighty guy in a toga, and then you see him in a pinstripe suit looking all fancy schmancy and whatnot. It's just made me laugh hysterically. And then Poseidon, like a surfer dude. That I just loved the description. And then Hades was the scary guy with albino skin and black long hair and this big black robe. It made me think of like something really scary. It made me think of the Flesh from Doctor Who. Not a pretty sight. But again, I loved all the characters. I loved Annabeth. She was such a great female lead, a great antagonist, like alongside Percy. She was just so exciting to read, and not the typical damsel in distress like all these other main female characters that I've read. She likes to take charge, and she gives a little bit of lip, but still, she's a great character. And I loved when she first met Percy. She's just like, by the way, you drool. Ah, gotta love Annabeth. Oh, gotta love Annabeth. And Grover, oh, little sweet Grover, just wanted to pick him up and hug him. He was so innocent and sweet, and I felt so bad for him. And I loved his talking to animals and eating all the tin cans, and he was just a funny guy, I also loved characters like Mr. D with his tiger Hawaiian shirt, Ares with his bikerness self in his human form. I really hated Ares. Whoa, what the hell? I thought it was really funny with Hephaestus and his prank when Annabeth and Percy and Grover went to go retrieve Ares' shield. And Hephaestus, is that his name? Hephaestus? I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but you know, Aphrodite's husband, he played the trick on them, and they were live from Olympus, and everybody was seeing them making fools of themselves, and it was just so hysterical. I love Hephaestus just because of what he did. It's just really funny. The coolest thing ever was probably when they were talking about how famous people in history were actually sons and daughters of Greek gods, like how George Washington was Athena's son. That was so cool. It was so interesting, because you never really think about stuff like that way, and it makes your mind think of all these different possibilities of what ifs and all that kind of stuff, and it really was really cool. I always love reading different types of twists and turns to the original stories that we have all put in our minds, and that's why, again, I know I'm going back to Once Upon a Time, but that's why I love Once Upon a Time so much. It twists the fairy tales into something completely different than what you originally thought, and it makes you have a broader view on life and all of its lessons. I'm being very, very poetic right now. I don't know why. Alright, are we going to talk about Luke? Let's talk about Luke. Okay, so even though I saw the movie, it was so obvious from the beginning that Luke was the one that was going to betray Percy. I mean, it was the most obvious thing in the world. Percy does not have that many friends. The Oracle said Percy was going to be betrayed by a friend. Well, Grover's out. Grover doesn't have a spine. Obviously, he would never do that. Annabeth, okay, sure, her mom has, like, stuff against Poseidon, but still, she's Percy's friend, and it's obvious that neither of these two people are going to hurt Percy. So then it obviously leaves us with Luke left, and he acted suspicious the entire time in this book. Was I the only one that even saw this? I don't know. Did you? I mean, Luke was just the obvious candidate here this whole time. I know, like, you might say you saw the movie, you knew it was gonna happen, but no! It was really, really obvious that Luke was the one that was helping Ares and Cronus. Oh my gosh, Cronus. I did not see that coming at all. And like, I knew from the beginning with those winged shoes, he kept saying, Percy, wear them. You wear them, Percy. I want you wear them. I want you to wear them, Percy. Why do you want Percy to wear the shoes so much? And then Grover wore them, and then Grover had the shoes on when the shoes went into where Cronus was. It was still really good. Because, you know, I think I'm being harsh in this category of, like, knowing that Luke was the one, because I'm just the type of person who kind of figures out who the evil guy is in stories, usually when, like, they're not revealed yet. So that really wasn't any type of flaw, really, that I saw, but more of just an observation, basically. One of the funniest things I thought was near the end of the book when Percy's mom used Medusa's head to turn Gabe and all his poker buddies into stone and made it an actual sculpture, and she got a lot of money for it, making it the poker guys. Whatever the name was, that was really funny, and I love that. And I love this book, and I have so many good things to say, and I think that's all I have to say. I just adore this book so much. Too many words, too many things to describe. I'm in love. TBA. Goodbye.